Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. It's Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. We need to talk about some rain this week, and it's not anything to do with Arthur. Arthur is going to move off the coast today and really be a non-issue. It's an upper low that's going to cause big issues for us today and really for the next couple of days, even though it's mostly sunny right now. Let's start with the severe weather outlook because today there is a low risk. This is incredibly low. Could see a strong storm or two. Overall threat is 5% or less for a gusty thunderstorm. Again, we're wind and hail. Tornado threat's near zero. It's not zero, but it's close. I'm really not overly concerned with severe weather. I'm really more concerned with flooding. So today's flash flood threat, you can see relatively low in the Charlotte area, but notice the medium threat in the mountains. It's really tomorrow that we start to see issues. This is the flash flood threat as we go into tomorrow for Tuesday. And then as we go into Wednesday, here's a look at that flash flood threat. So a really big threat for seeing potentially flooding over the next couple of days. So the next 3 days, and I don't know why I didn't move there, but I should say this is actually Wednesday, Tuesday, and today. So the next 3 days, flash flooding, especially in the Western Carolinas, a huge deal. So why are we going to see this flooding? Well, it's not because of Arthur. There's Arthur near the coast. You could see it moving away. It's this spin up here, and we talked about it this weekend. This is a cutoff low, which means it's been cut off from the flow in the atmosphere, so it's not going to move. It's going to meander here across the mid-Atlantic, the mid-Ohio, middle Mississippi River Valley, somewhere in here. And the problem is if it stays to our west, the counterclockwise flow around low pressure is going to bring in moisture from the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, and we're going to be right here. So think of this as a big pinwheel in the atmosphere rotating all of that moisture in here. Here's a look at the satellite image wide. We'll start wide first. You can see that pinwheel. There it is, spinning right there. And you can see the plume of tropical moisture coming up through Florida. This would be a huge concern for flooding later tomorrow and maybe even into Wednesday. There's Arthur moving away, but there's our low pressure system. So you can see the flow around it really just wrapping around. And what happens is as that flow comes in from the south and east, it ramps up into the mountains, and we're going to see this upslope flow. So what happens is southwesterly and southeasterly winds will push in here, and it'll ramp up into the mountains, and this will produce heavy, heavy rain on the east and southeastern facing slopes. So the water vapor loop shows that plume of moisture as well coming in from the south and the east. So you can see that plume of tropical moisture getting spun into the southeast. A good way to look at this is something called precipitable water. And this is a product that shows that plume. I'm going to stop this basically right about here. So this is satellite interpretation of where that moisture is. And you can see it getting tapped into from the south and getting pulled up into the system. There's Arthur. Thank goodness Arthur's moving away. That would have added more moisture. But you could see that plume of moisture coming in from the south and the east. And just to show you, this is another perspective of the model guidance showing that plume of precipitable water, we call it. Just a huge plume. Look at that. Look at that. This is tomorrow. That is just a big fire hose wrapping in here. And what happens is it moves into the Carolinas. Again, the mountains are like this. It intersects it perpendicular, and that lifts the air. That's why the western part of the state, especially those eastern facing slopes, could see several days of heavy rain. And as long as that low stays to the west, that flow is going to continue. And this is all the way through Thursday until it starts to break up a little bit and the flow becomes more southwesterly, and you can start to see it drying out a little bit by the end of the week. So the next couple of days will be extremely, extremely wet. And we talked about some of the totals. Just look at some of these. This is the forecasted rainfall totals. I'll start it today. Obviously, we're near zero, but then tonight into tomorrow starts ramping up. And then look at some of these totals. I'm going to go all the way to Friday afternoon. We'll stop this Friday morning. You can see right around Charlotte, 4 to 5 inches of rain. Again, it could vary. It depends on where the band sets up. And then look at some of these totals in the mountains. Up in here, you're looking at 6, 7, 8, 9 inches of rain because any slope that faces southeast is going to be hit straight on. So you can see that's Grandfather Mountain right there. There's Mount Mitchell. Kind of sticking out there as it lifts the air even further. So huge amounts of precipitation over the next couple of days. So let's look at the Futurecast. We'll look at how this unfolds and kind of play it out for you. All right, so what I'm going to show you is just the next 60 hours. And you can see as we go through time, there's Arthur moving away. And look at the bands of rain developing. And this is by 5 p.m. tonight. You can see bands of showers and thunderstorms. So again, it's not going to rain the whole time, but when it is raining, it's going to be heavy and there's going to be waves of it. So there will be breaks. The problem is those breaks will be a couple of hours, then a couple hours of rain, a couple of hours of breaks. So you can see the waves of this coming in. Really, this is tonight into tomorrow morning that the rain really picks up. And we're going through tomorrow. We'll stop this in the morning. You can see the flow really starting to crank up in the mountains. So tomorrow looks really, really soggy during the day. This is going into the afternoon, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock Tuesday, 5. You can just see it's waves and waves and waves of rain. And here we are going. I mean, that is just a soggy setup right there. And this is all the way. I'll stop this on Wednesday at 2 p.m. So this is just through Wednesday at 2 p.m. Just a ton of moisture. Let's look at this a little bit further out and see how long this stuff's going to stick around. You can see the moisture still here all the way through Thursday. It starts to break up. But until this upper low, cutoff low, gets out of here, it's just going to be day after day after day of rainfall this week until it moves on. So really heavy rainfall threat overall. And that's why you're seeing some of that moisture, depicted here, just pummeling the southeast. And these totals are probably going to be pretty legit, that we're going to see some places in here get 6, 7, 8 inches. And across the Piedmont, I'd say 3 to 5 inches, certainly a possibility during the week. So I've gotten a lot of questions about, time frames. The thing is about this, it's going to be scattered. So it's hard to say at exact this moment on Tuesday or Wednesday it'll be raining. But there's no need to water. Everybody's going to be getting rain at some point. It's going to come at us in waves, and it's not going to be light rain. It's going to be heavy rain. So while I do think there will be breaks in this, when it's raining, it's going to be coming down cats and dogs. So prepare accordingly, that the type of rain we're going to be getting are tropical downpours. And when it does rain, it's going to be heavy, but there will be some breaks in between. So if you can plan and say, hey, I need an hour or two to get something done, and you can wait it out and just look at the radar, you could do it. But if you need completely dry conditions, this is not the week for you in the Piedmont. This is going to be some heavy rain. Of course, I'll be talking about it all day on WCNC at 4, 5, 6, and 11. And we'll be posting updates. If you live near water, be ready. Get prepared for heavy rain. Clean those downspouts out. Clean the storm drains out. Get everything ready. We need that water to flow efficiently because we're going to see a lot of it over the next couple of days.